most recently, I had a chance to talk with so many groups of executive and leaders, thought leaders in the NGO global community, and everybody was like, "Oh no, what we're gonna do now? I don't know. I don't think we can survive the next year or two, let alone 4. Oh my gosh, the world's gonna come to an end," sort of thing. As we all see in our Facebook posts, like, how can I endure another day of so much toil and turbulations around the world and within our own country? And I've always looked back and sort of like, yeah, but if you're an immigrant or have your direct connection to an immigrant family or direct experience to an immigrant culture, sort of, you know how to survive, you know how to do this stuff. And so I'd like to share tidbits of my journey and sort of like to share with you and with the hope that you too will walk away with a sense of hope, with a sense of resiliency, that faith in humanity is restored. So that is my hypothesis. I hope that I be successful in that. All right. So the title of my talk. I know I got the same response a lot of the time. People were laughing. It's like, oh yeah, I get it. So it's around the notions of, the subtext is what I use is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, so enshrined so well within the Declaration of Independence. And that for a long time, for most of all the way through my teens and adult life, that has been the anchor. That is ultimately what we're talking about in terms of the American dream. Right? That is what drove me in particular throughout this journey. So there it is. Family of 7 just came through SeaTac Airport and it's just resettled in the Pacific Northwest for about a month. You could not tell because we were wearing stuff as if it's the winter month. But this is in May, okay? But came from our lives all the way in Southeast Asia. This was it. It was like, wow, everything was so big here, so large. So we had to kind of stay together, or we're gonna get lost. So this is our trip that our sponsor family took us up to Mount Rainier. First time we saw snow. That was amazing. It was really, really cool. That's sort of like, and what's ensued is just continue to be a sense of renew hope, right? We landed we came from a place where my brothers and sisters would not have a bright future in a system where the government is considered as a second-class citizen. My father was an ex-officer in the South Vietnamese Army. That means he's considered to be enemy of the state, and he was in a form of labor concentration camp for about 3 years, released because he got malaria and they didn't want to waste any medicine on him. But my grandmother had patched him up good, and we were able to get refugees status as political asylum and left the country that April 1983. Lots of hard work, learning new languages, so on and so forth. Both of my parents end up working as janitors and continue to raise us, and so that we can have the opportunity to go to schools and whatnot. But it was really cool because we all knew that we had a better future because of it. Fast forward. I don't know about you guys, but for me, one of the earliest and probably the most important life goal that I learned, that I embraced, was of all the things that a young man could have wanted in life. Some wanted to have a business, somebody wanted to have a brand new car, wanted to be a rock stars, whatnot. All I wanted to do in life was to be a paratrooper. I went to bed at night and woke up the next day, and I was just like, what can I do? What should I do? And start to prep for it since the day I walked into high school in the United States. I had to learn English because I know that in order to be successfully being a good soldier and doing anything in this country, you got to be able to communicate well. But that doesn't mean that learning English well only. I continue to stay on with speaking French, and my parents at home, making sure that we speak and write fluently in Vietnamese as well. So we're juggling all those languages together. But so as the day I graduated from high school, I went into the service, and my parents, my mom particularly, swore that she would disown me if I ever joined, if I were to do it. And that was one of the hardest moments of my life, was to walk away from my mother and went into the service, because that is my calling. Part of that calling is appreciating the fact that 58,000 American best gave their all to a country that they did not know. Regardless of their politics, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with decisions, one way or the other about it, 58,000's life should mean something. And it should mean protect and preserve, creating the space for civic discourse to take place. And I wanted to be one of those men and women who wanted to give everyone that space and time. And to me, it amounts to a blood debt. A blood debt that could not be paid in any amount of taxations that I could ever amass. Could only be repaid in kind. And I have embraced this country, and to be a full participation and full citizens of the United States means that I got to be willing to live and die for its principles. And that's what I did. That's why I walked away from my mother, for the greater good, in my own interpretation. July 3rd, 1989, happiest day of my life. No, they wouldn't jump on July 4th, but that was the day that we finished our 5th jump out of Fort Benning, Georgia. Picture on your left, as well as mine, is a picture of me and my buddy, my best friend in the world, Mike Anderson. Throughout the military career that I stay in the Army, we stay connected. And the last assignment that we were able to have together, he took a bullet in the head. I was next to him, giving him morphine so that his body can calm down, so that we can finish our mission. And I came home after that, get out of the Army, married my wife, and had a wonderful daughter sitting over there. This is my mother. Fast forward, she became a monk. Been just such an inspiration and a mental, and just an inspirational and spiritual leader in my life as well, and so many others. The reason why I show this picture to you is because I want to honor her for her leadership, the way she has raised me well, that I didn't realize, but what I've done and everything that I've become is because of her. And she was a great mom, and toward the end of her life, she was with diabetes and cancer and whatnot, and she was a struggle. But and she continued to demonstrate throughout her life and toward the end such tremendous grace and courage. And I came to her in a couple of weeks prior to her death, and I said, "Mother, you have shown me tremendous grace and courage. I hope that when my day comes, I will be as courageous and graceful as you are." And she said, "I know you will, son, and I know you do the right thing and serve our people and our country well." So on a Sunday, she passed away. on Monday, I went to work because she wouldn't want me to dwell on sorrow. She wanted me to continue to go forward. In many ways, I use the symbol of the lotus is to go back to this very notion of this very, interesting flower. That, where does it grow? It grows from the mud. Without mud, it doesn't grow. And that is where the stories of generations of immigrants and refugees, like all of our ancestors and our heritage, have all done, and in this case, me in particular, is that we embrace the suck. We build a new life as we go along in the hope of protecting and preserving liberty and creating an opportunity to create happiness, pursuit of happiness for ourselves, but more importantly for others. And I couldn't have done that without those who have embracing the suck before me, those who are embracing the suck as I am doing that work now, and those way into the future. So I've got to embrace it so that those who come after me can enjoy another opportunity to share their moments with their communities the same way I am today. Thank you very much.